Hi guys, welcome to my series of videos on the Oracle system. In this series we are going to be looking at the Oracle Learning Cloud, also referred to as Learning or Oracle Learning Cloud, or more generally as the Learning Management System or LMS. The LMS or OLC falls under Talent Management, which is part of Human Capital Management or HR, and it's part of the Oracle Fusion Cloud offering. This video is specifically for administrators who create and manage the learning catalog, and when I say learning catalog I mean courses, and manage the pre and post learning activities. So we're talking about users registering onto courses, making those course assignments to users, marking users as having attended activities, etc. This is my own understanding of the terminology, how the system works, having used the system for a number of years now. It's not official, it's my own understanding, my own interpretation, and in this video we're going to cover the most basic terminology, the fundamentals of OLC. And you may be surprised, but we're not going to go into the Oracle system. We're going to do everything in the form of an Excel spreadsheet. I will explain it as we go along. So just to get started straight away then, number one, as part of the learning management system we have courses. Okay, let me zoom in a bit there for you. In OLC, or in any LMS, to be honest with you, courses will have titles, they'll have a description. In OLC, we'll have a publish start date and a publish end date. Okay, there'll be an option where you can add an image or a trailer to preview the course, and there's an area where we can also add attachments such as pre-reading, etc. for the course, or further information about the course. Okay, so out of these, only these two items that I'm highlighting there is what is required when you're creating a course in the system. Title is required, publish start date is required. What does it mean when it says publish start date? So this is the basis of this video, just to explain what some of this terminology is. Publish start date is simply the date on which that course will become available to end users in terms of visibility. When will it become searchable? When will it become active for users to be able to find it in a catalog and to be able to enroll in a course? Okay, and we'll give examples of these in just a minute. So highest level, if you think of it as a hierarchy, we have courses. Then after, or sitting underneath courses, we have offerings. Okay, offerings can be one of three types. They can be instructor-led, classroom-based courses basically, or virtual online. They can be self-paced, so e-learning, or they can be blended, whereby it's a combination of a self-paced portion of the course as well as an ILT as well. Okay, so let's just insert an extra column in here. Offerings will also have a title. They'll also have a description. They'll also have a publish start date. They'll have a publish end date. They will have an offering start date. They'll have an offering end date. Okay, there'll be an option where you can enter class details, the room, There's a language field. There's a coordinator, course coordinator, or offering coordinator field. There's a place where we can add attachments. There's a capacity and a wait list option, and possibly there's an approvals required field as well. So let's take each of these fields and apply it to our offering types. So if it's an e-learning, yes, it's got to have a title. Description is there, it's not mandatory, and it will have a publish start date mandatory, publish end date not mandatory, offering start date mandatory, I'll say offering end date mandatory, and that's about it as far as mandatory fields are concerned when setting up or creating offerings. So when we come to creating an offering, the first thing that Oracle will do is will ask you, are you creating an ILT? Are you creating a self-paced course? Or is it blending? Then depending on which option you select, these fields will become available. So let's just look at self-paced. Yes, it's got a title. Yes, you can put in a description. Publish start date. So when is this offering, when is this e-learning going to become available to the end user to select and continue with that e-learning? When does that e-learning offering end? If it's going to run forever, then that's fine. We leave the publish end date blank. It's not mandatory. Okay, offering start date and offering end date not applicable as far as self-paced courses are concerned. Only applies for instructor-led, because the offering takes place on a particular date. You have to attend the classroom, and it ends on a particular date. Not the case for e-learning. Okay, not the case. Again, classroom, not necessary. Language, default. Coordinator, yes, you can put in your name in there or another coordinator's name. Attachments, yes, we can add them, not mandatory. No capacity or wait list for e-learnings because it's self-paced. Users can access it, do it whenever they want. But yes, you can set an approval for it if necessary. Okay, ILTs, yes, title, yes, description. Publish start date mandatory, publish end date not mandatory. Offering start date, offering end date for ILTs will definitely be mandatory because this course has an offering that is being offered on a particular date. This is the date the offering starts. This is the date on which the offering ends. And then, of course, you might want to specify a classroom. You might want to specify the maximum capacity for the classroom. Do you want to enable a wait list? Do you want users to get their manager's approval? Or can they just register, enroll on the course straight away? Okay. And that's offerings. And the final building block is what we have known as activities. Okay, so we've got courses, we've got offerings within those courses, and then we've got activities within those offerings. So we've got title, description, we've got an activity start date, we've got a time. Actually, let's call it start time, end time. You've got an instructor. We've got the room location or the virtual address for the Zoom meeting or the Teams meeting. And then we've got an area where we can add attachments. Okay, so I've created my course. I've created the offering. I now need to create the activity. Here we've got title mandatory, we've got activity start date mandatory, we've got the start time mandatory, end time mandatory, instructor, room location mandatory. Okay, now I'll give examples of each of these, but if this was a self-paced offering, Then the activity has got a title, doesn't have a start date, doesn't have a start time, end time because it's self-paced, it's an instructor-led, won't even have an instructor or room location. The activity will be the SCORM content, the AICC content, whatever it is, the web link, the PDF, the PowerPoint presentation that the users have to read as part or access or complete as part of the offering. So self-paced, let's just say it was a SCORM activity, you'd link it to the SCORM activity which you've loaded into Oracle, which I'll cover in a future video. Your activity, offering, and course. So I want to give, that's easiest, simplest one is self-paced. I want to give more details on instructor-led offerings. So I'm just going to delete these two columns for the time being. And let's get started with examples here of a course. So let's say my course is called First Aid. I'm creating it today. Okay, I'll put in my description for the course. And let's say I created it on 1st of January 2023. The course is available, accessible to the users as of this date. This course is never going to end, so I'm going to leave the publish end date out. I can put in a logo, an image, a trailer, and if there's any necessary attachments, I can add them in. So as far as creating a course in OLC is concerned, title, publish start date, you hit save, your course is created. Users can access that course immediately if it's the current date or they're accessing the catalog after the publish start date. Okay, they can enroll in the course, but there's nothing else that they can do. They don't know where to go, they don't know anything about the course details apart from the title and the description. So you then need to create an offering, right? So let's say the offering has got the same title, it's got the same description, publish start date. Let's say we created the offering immediately after creating the course. Right, now, before I put in a publish end date, let's say the course is going to be offered on the 1st of February 2023. So I'm creating it on the 1st of January. I'm adding it to the catalog 1st of January, but the course actually takes place, or the offering actually takes place on the 1st of Feb. It's a half-day course, so it also ends on the 1st of February. Okay, now the publish end date, when do I want to make that offering hidden for users? Up until what time or what date can they register for the course? Because it's still visible as of the 31st of January, it will still be visible if I leave this date blank. So right up until the last minute, they can register for that course. Let's say I want to close the registration a few days before. So if I say 21st of January 2023. So user comes into the system, say on the 31st of December 2022. They search for First Aid, nothing comes up because the course hasn't been published yet. 2nd of January, user comes into the office, searches for First Aid, course comes up. 2nd of January we're talking about, right? They're doing it on. Under the course, it lists offerings. It's the 2nd of January. It will show this offering as being available to the user. If the user was to come in on the 10th of January, offering is still available. User comes in on the 24th of January, this offering is still available for them to register. User comes in on the 28th, the offering is still visible. They can still register. User comes in on the 29th of January, searches for the course appears, but the offering doesn't appear because they're accessing it on the 29th, but this offering was set to be hidden set to be closed on the 28th of January, so they can no longer register. Okay, rest is not mandatory, but let's just say my capacity is 20 and there's a little checkbox where you can enable the waitlist, and by default it's first in, first out of the waitlist. So first person on the waitlist, someone cancelled, first person gets moved into enrolled in the course, etc. Okay, so let's go here now. So the user registers, but they still don't know what room, what time the course starts, etc. So we've got at activity level, we've got your title and your description. You've got a activity start date, which must be on or after the offering start date. Yeah. Okay, we've got a start time. Let's say it was 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's a half-day course, so it finishes by 12 p.m. Instructor, Mr. So-and-so, room location 100, and there's no attachments. Okay, and that's your activity setup. So when post-course, when a user has attended the session, as a learning administrator, you will be marking activities as complete or not passed or not completed. It's the activity you mark as complete, which then drives the completion of the offering, which then drives completion or non-completion of that course. Okay, that's the basic building blocks of courses, offerings, activities. I'm going to give you a few other examples. Right, so if this course, first aid, is offered once a month, you do not need to create another course, but you do need to create a new offering. So if I just, as an example, copy this lot, put it down here. Okay, publish start date, publish end date. Let's say I'm creating it on the 1st of January. The class takes place on the 1st of March. Okay, and 1st of March. All the other details are the same. I also need to create an activity. So activities specific to offerings. Okay, here we go. Their activity start date must be on or after the offering start date. Okay, same time, same instructor. Let's just say it's taking place in a different room. Let's just look at how it would work as far as the user is concerned, as far as the catalogue is concerned. User comes in on the 6th of January. They search for the course first aid. Course appears. Once that course appears, it will now show as having two available offerings. 6th of January, it will show that there's an offering available on the 1st of Feb, and it will show that there's an offering available on the 1st of March. That's because the visibility for both of these offerings covers the 6th of January. So what can happen now in this case is that users can complete or register for this offering, or they can register for this offering because it's visible to them. If you want users, if you want to try and shoehorn users into the first offering first, fill that one up before we open the second offering, what we need to change here are the publish start dates. Okay, so let's say it's still 1st of January when I'm setting this up, but let's say we will make this publish, we will open this offering to users starting from the 31st of January 2023, and we'll stop it on the, let's say, 27th of Feb. Now, if a user comes in 6th of January, searches for the course, the only offering that is available to them is this one, 6th of January. It's the 6th of January. This one hasn't yet been published. So you can set them up in advance. It only becomes activated or visible in the catalogue once that date is hit. Okay, user comes in on the, let's say 30th, let's say 2nd of Feb, searches for the course, this is gone, right? Even if I left this one blank, if they come in on the 2nd of February, this doesn't appear because the offering end date is in the past. Okay, so if the offering end date is in the past, the offering will not appear to users anyway. Okay, but it's the 2nd of Feb. This offering is not available. This offering is the only one that's available that they can see because the 2nd of Feb falls within that publish date range there. And then they can register for it. They know it's on the 1st of March. Going across, they can see what time it is, what room location, etc., etc. Okay, if, let's give you another example. Let's paste it down here. Let's give you another example. Let's say that this is a 2-day course. Okay, so it starts on the 1st of March and it ends the following day, 2nd of March. Okay, now what needs to happen, guys, is that you will need to create 2 activities. Okay, we will need to create a day 1 activity and a day 2 activity. This will be the same. Okay, the activity start date for activity number 2 will be 2nd of March 2023. So day 1 activity is 1st of March, day 2 activity is 2nd of March, date, time, room, everything else is the same. Okay, it's a 2-day course, it's a 5-day course, it's a 10-day course, etc., etc. You need to have one offering, but you need to have different number of activities for the different days that offering takes place. So if it was a 5-day course coming from the 1st of March to the 5th of March, you'd then have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, etc. If it's a 2-day course, but let's say day 1 is offered on the Monday and day 2 is offered on the Wednesday, if 1st of March was a Monday, your offering end date will finish on the 3rd, which is a Wednesday, but you'd still only have 2 activities, right? 1st of March is day 1 activity, 3rd of March, which happens to be, for example, a Wednesday, is the second part of the course. So Tuesday they go back to the offices, whatever else, they don't need to attend the course. Here it appears as if it's a 3-day course, but actually it's 2 days, and those are the 2 days that that course is available on. Okay, let's give you one last example and then I'll finish this video. Let's give you another example. It's a 10-day course, but it takes place over the period of 1 entire month. So the course, the first date of the course is 1st of March. The 10th day or the last day of the course takes place on the 30th of March. You would need to have 10 activities. Day 1, day 2. Day 1 would be 1st of March, for example. Day 2, day 3, day 4. Day 5, etc. can be on whichever days they run. Day 10, the last activity, needs to be on the 30th of March. So that is courses offerings activities. You have a course, you create offerings when that course is offered, if in the case of ILTs, and depending on the duration of the offering, you may need to create one or more activities. I hope it makes sense, and we'll come back with subsequent videos going into more detail covering the Oracle Learning Cloud. Thank you very much.